An attack near a synagogue in Tunisia killed 2 security officers and 2 visitors on Tuesday amid an annual pilgrimage to the island of Djerba that draws hundreds of Jews from Europe and Israel. The attack was staged by a guard in a naval installation on Djerba who used his weapon to shoot a colleague first and seize his ammunition before heading towards the synagogue, the Interior Ministry said, where he fired and killed 2 visitors, 2 cousins, a French national and a local visitor. He also injured 5 security officers and 4 other visitors. The Israeli Foreign Ministry updated that among the dead was an Israeli citizen. Security forces then shot the attacker dead, and authorities did not immediately identify a motive for the attack. An investigation is underway. We now want to say hello to Rafram Chaddad. He's a visual artist and Tunisian Jew joining us from Hammamet in Tunisia. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Hi, good morning.
So first of all, our condolences to your community for the shooting yesterday. How do you interpret the information that is flowing in so far about the attack? Was it intended against the Jewish community or Jewish pilgrims, and is the attacker affiliated to any organization, or was he acting on his own?
Yeah, we still don't know much because there are many rumors about what happened. If it was staged, if it was connected to what's happening in Israel, we don't know yet. But for sure it was targeted because he was in the touristic zone before, and then he headed to Ghriba, which is a very, very fully secured compound, which is very, very strange also what happened there. So we don't know yet exactly what happened. And probably like last cases, which were very, very rare, 2002, 85, probably it's connected to 1 or 2 person action, not to some kind of organization.
That brings me to my next question about everyday life in the small Jewish community of Tunisia that you're a part of. We're talking about a few hundreds or 1,500 or so?
Yeah, 1,500 in total.
Yeah.
Few in Tunis, the capital, few in Djerba, yeah.
Is life there for your community usually safe?
Yeah. Usually life is safe. We actually are being favored by the police in many small incidents. So usually life is safe, and even the Ghriba pilgrimage, which is a very rare event where Israelis can come to Tunisia, which there is no normalization. They come with a separate kind of like permit, and they are fully secured. It's all very, very abnormal to this country, which is a very, very pro-Palestinian country, of course, from the PLO time. But in the same time, the Jews have a different say here. They are very rooted here. They are very connected. The food, the music, the culture, everything here is very well known and appreciated.
And I think that's a lot of what has brought you to Tunisia, back to Tunisia, I believe. The art, the food, the heritage, the architecture, and I think you present all this very well in your work and on social media, etc. Does it ever get scary? You mentioned that Tunisia is very pro-Palestinian and that the Jewish community of Tunisia is sort of regarded by the authorities as differently. How is that the case, and how are developments here on the ground in Israel, and of course with the severe events that we've seen in the last few days, how does that impact the relationship between the Jewish community and the authorities and the general Muslim community there?
Yeah, there is of course a connection between the Jews here in Israel. It's done by certain Israelis, done by certain Tunisians, usually from the right wing. Both they try to recognize Jews with the national, but many Jews, of course, in Tunis see themselves as Tunisian, and that's which is like German Jews, like French Jews, of course, and so this kind of link happening, of course, all the time by 2 parties, let's say. But at the same time, I mean, we had a minister here. Jewish minister, so there's kind of like, but Jews cannot go to the army, so there are all kinds of like almost like bipolar attention to what's happening with Jews in Tunisia. It's a very non-spoken also. What happened to Tunisian Jews in the 60s, 70s, what happened to Tunisian Jews now, what's the history? It's all very, very on the edge with what's happening also in Israel, of course, and the Jewish-Arab conflict, which started very, very, very late. I mean, it's not a historical conflict.
Before we part, I want to talk a little bit about the synagogue because it looks beautiful and we're seeing it amid, of course, the attack that happened there. But what can you tell us about the synagogue in Djerba and its heritage?
This synagogue is more almost like a heritage, like for Tunisian in general. I mean, the last attack there was 2002, where German tourists died. We believe that the synagogue was built by the high priests, the Kohen Gadol families who came almost 3,000 years ago from the first temple. We are called the Jews. My mother is from this quarter. We are called the Jews of the door, the Dichti Jews, because they brought the door from the temple and on it they built the synagogue. It's a very interesting synagogue because you need to remove your shoes before you go in. It's like the temple. And many Israelis actually don't want to do it. They think it's a mosque, like a mosque. But basically, this is a very Jewish custom to remove the shoes when you go in. It's a very holy place for all religions in Tunisia, and there is traditionally a prayer every Shabbat morning, and that's it. It's not very active today, but it's still amazingly beautiful synagogue.
Rafram Chaddad, thank you very much for joining us today, and of course our condolences to your community there for this horrible attack. May we know peaceful days there and here. Rafram Chaddad joining us from Hammamet in Tunisia.